Before you do that, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe. So let's move on to our next story, which is Jax Taylor weighing in on the mess, spilling the beans, and doing the absolute most. So these stories are from Reality Blurb. It says Jax Taylor claims Tom Sandoval borrowed $200,000 from his mom's retirement fund to open his now struggling bar, Schwartz and Sandy's. Side note, I always heard it was $250K, a quarter of a mil. But let's keep going. During an appearance on Heather McDonald's podcast on Tuesday, the Vanderpump Rules alum said that the bar has been nearly empty since Sandoval's affair with Raquel Leviss was uncovered, and he suggests that if Tom Schwartz doesn't cut ties, he could lose everything. Sandoval manipulates the hell out of Schwartz. That is a fact. Jax began on the May 16th episode of Juicy Scoop, as seen in a video shared by the Daily Dose of Donna podcast on TikTok. He will do whatever he says, and that's why I said you've got to cut ties. According to Jax, he told Schwartz post-Sandoval, this is not making any situation easier. This is not healthy for you or anybody. He has to cut ties. They're going to lose the bar. They're going to lose everything, Jax warned. Then when Heather suggested she'd heard that Schwartz and Sandy's had been packed, despite the backlash and poor reviews it was hit with after Sandoval cheated on Ariana Madix amid their affair, Jax denied any such thing. I went there Thursday night. There was 5 people there, and this was 10:30 at night. There was 5 people there, he confirmed. Due to the disgust many have with Sandoval, Schwartz and Sandy's fate could be in jeopardy. The bar manager, the owner, they can't stand Sandoval, Jax stated. They don't want him there anymore. They want to buy him out. This is all, I'm hearing this. This is all things people are saying. It's not cheap to have a bar in LA. You've got to rent. You've got rent. You've got overhead. You've got employees. How are you footing the bill for this? Who's paying for this? While Jax had no idea how the bills are getting paid currently, he claimed Sandoval took out a major loan from his mom to get its doors open. So Tom Sandoval borrowed like $200K from his mom from her retirement fund, he shared. And because of that, Jax questions how Sandoval was able to go through his affair with Raquel. As he told Heather, knowing this in the back of your head, you have all this money tied up, and all of this, knowing this could jeopardize your business, your mom's financial status, your best friend's financial status, and you still decided to do this. Okay. Side note, this is the thing. Jax, I totally get what you're saying, but I don't think Tom Sandoval thinks logically that way. I don't think he actually thought anything in his life he was putting in jeopardy, because I don't think he thought he was going to get caught, and I think he thought he would get away with it the way he always does. I also think he spent a lot of his mom's retirement money on the band, not the restaurant, because who's footing the bill for the band? You know, he's paying for everybody's travel when they tour. He's paying for meals. He's paying for them to practice. He's paying for venues, because a lot of times people who are starting out, it's pay to play. They'll even pay to just play. You know what I mean? So where is he getting money from, not only for the restaurant, but also money for the band? I think he used a lot of his mom's retirement money for the band, because that's another reason why the restaurant was struggling so much. Like, I get it's expensive, but like, how much money do you need? If you had $250,000 from your mom, you had the money that Schwartz was putting up, you already had the equity money from your house. Like, were you just literally this horrible? You know what I'm saying? So this is the thing. I think that Tom used a lot of the mom's money for the band and the restaurant, and on frivolous stuff like Adderall, white nail polish, male makeup. I don't know. But I don't think that Tom thinks in a healthy way. I don't think he thought he was putting anything at stake, because he's always gotten away with this crap. He's always been able to play the victim. He's always been able to weasel out, and he's always been able to come out on top. He's been doing that for the last 10 to 12 years. So I don't think he thought this time would be any different. And he messed up and found out. And then even in the finale, when he's doing his crocodile tears to Lisa. And the moment Lisa says, well, remember that you know, you did a bad thing, but you're a good person. And his fake tears stop and he gives this little like mischievous grin because he's like, it's working. If I can win Lisa over, that means I get to stay on the show. And then he goes and bawls his eyes out to Schwartz. But then the moment Schwartz holds him accountable about the business, he stops. He goes, well, then just stay off the internet. Sandoval does not think the way a healthy, normal brain thinks. He's never had to face any type of consequence. So why would he think he had to face one now? Sick and sad. Okay, let's move on to the next story that Jax is spilling. So Jax also revealed whether or not Tom Schwartz is really dating Joe and slammed Tom Sandoval's band during an appearance on Heather McDonald's podcast. So we know that's where he's at. As he also spoke on Ariana's Newsman. He goes, I think she's a sweetheart. I think she's a beautiful person, Jax revealed. According to Jax, although he loves James and feels he's grown up a lot, he does worry about how fame may impact the 31-year-old DJ. This kind of area that he's in right now can be dangerous because if you get sucked in by the light and you get a little bit of diva mentality, so you have to be careful where you are right now, he warned. It's a dangerous area to be in when everyone's liking you and things are going great because it just takes one little thing for you to fail. I agree with Jax on this, and that's what I was saying about Ariana, you know, her saying like, I'm not going to film with Tom. I'm not going to film with Raquel. And even if that means I don't come back to the show, you know, of course she's like, it's not up to me, it's up to them, but this is how I feel. Just the same way, you know, I say milk your 15 minutes as much as you can, you know, do every single gig you can, do every appearance you can, make the bag, do everything you can to get this out, but don't bite the hand that fed you. Don't kick the platform that got you there. Because I like Ariana, cool. But if we're being honest, she would not be where she's at right now with the glow up if it were not for Vanderpump Rules in the show. And for the scandal and everything breaking. I mean, we just got to call a thing, right? So I agree. And I think Jax is saying the same thing that I'm saying about Ariana, about James. You're in the light, you're glowing, but just be mindful. I think you should take advantage as much as you can, but have that contingency plan, you know, because they always say pride comes before the fall. So just be a little bit careful with the who I'm going to film with, who I'm not going to film with. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that situation, you know? And at the end of the day, Ariana, you still live with Tom. So you might be able to film with him. I don't know. But let's keep going. Looking back at James's journey on the show, Jax said to James who was added as a full cast member for season 4, found an in with Kristen Doty, who was vulnerable at that point of time. If you're looking for a way into the group at that time, Kristen was the most vulnerable one. So you would go through her, date her, sleep with her, do whatever you got to do because she was so vulnerable, and that's what he did, he explained. And this is another reason why Tom Sandoval, I think, had sex with Raquel. Because again, I think Tom Sandoval, his narcissism and his ego would never let anything go. And the fact that he thought James was his little buddy, his little protege, and then James turned around and had sex with Kristen and then dated Kristen, I think that Tom Sandoval never forgot that and was waiting for a moment to get back at him. You know? But let's keep going. Dun, 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 dun. All right, let's see what else. Okay. All right. It's a D-list band and a D-list bar, he stated. He's talking about Tom Sandoval. Oh, wait, let's go back a little. According to Jax, who slammed Sandoval's band, Tom Sandoval and Most Extras, and his bar, Schwartz and Sandy's, as, quote, D-list, he feels bad for Schwartz's involvement, even though he believes he should have told Ariana what he knew of Sandoval and Raquel's romance. It's a D-list bar and a D-list band, he stated. It's so not fair what he's doing to Schwartz, but Schwartz should have said, hey, listen, I'm going to give you until Wednesday, and I'm going to say something because I'm not the only one this is going to affect our friendship. This is going to affect our business, our finances. Sandoval put him between a rock and a hard place, and Schwartz is already dealing with enough. Jax continued. He's got three brothers that are struggling with alcoholism. He's got his dad that's in and out of the hospital. He's got his mother that lives in South Carolina and his other family in Florida. I don't know how he hasn't had a stroke or a heart attack. After noting that Schwartz is very easily manipulated, Jax confirmed he is not dating Jo. He's not dating her, he shared, adding, she's weird. She's like Kristen on crack, circa 2010. Okay, a couple of things to unpack with this real quick. Number one, Jax is definitely creating a narrative because I know Jax wants to come back to the show. He got fired and he wants to come back. I get it, Jax. I think if he comes back, it's going to be Jax and Schwartz takedown of Tom Sandoval. That's why he keeps saying Schwartz needs to cut ties. Schwartz easily manipulated. Sandoval took advantage, but at the end of the day, Tom Schwartz is a grown man and he made his choices and he did what he did. He has to take responsibility for himself. Where I disagree with Jax is I don't think that it was Schwartz's obligation to tell Ariana that Sandoval was cheating. It wasn't. I don't care if they're friends. It was not his obligation. Where I think that Schwartz messed up was participating in the cover-up. Hooking up with Raquel, doing the fake stuff, blah, 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 going on the double dates when he was dating Jo, going to Big Bear and, having their double dates and all of this stuff. That's where I think Schwartz messed himself up with. Because at the end of the day, you really don't have that obligation to tell that person. You don't. Because half of the time, actually more than half the time, they're going to turn around and get mad at you. They're going to shoot the messenger. They're going to get defensive. They're going to say you're lying. They're going to say you're bitter. They're going to say you're jealous. Exactly what Ariana did to everybody who tried to tell her. She did it to Lala. She did it to Katie. She did it to Sheena. So at the end of the day, I don't think Schwartz had the obligation to tell her, but I think he was messed up when he participated in it. That's really where Schwartz went wrong, I think. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. And I agree. I don't think that Schwartz is with Jo anymore. I think that they've broken up and that's been dead for a little bit now. But what do you think about Jax weighing in? And, Jax also said on Heather McDonald's podcast, which I thought was really weird and bizarre, that him and Stassi, I think when Stassi was on it, they caught Raquel rehearsing her lines for the show. And they were like, what the hell? This is a reality show. You go in, you have the outline of this. Like, this is how it works. They have a call time, call location. The producers will say, hey, this is the scene. Sheena, you're going to meet up with Ariana. Don't forget to talk about this. Lala said that. Go. There's no lines. You're not, this isn't a scripted show. Sure, the producers will feed you like an outline of the scene. That's why it's called quote, scripted reality or, reality TV or whatever it's called. But there's no script. This isn't, that type of show. So, but she would be rehearsing lines that like producers would be like, oh, well, maybe say this, as like an outline. Like, how weird, how bizarre, how weird. He was practicing lines and all of that stuff. Jax also told it about how, what's his name? Sandoval has IRS and tax issues. Well, I mean, he should know because he also had IRS and tax issues. That's why when I do stuff like this, I always make sure that I'm not counting anybody's money. I'll report all of that stuff, but I never want to have a negative kiki about anybody's money because I think that you could be so rich one day and in the poorhouse the next. In the poorhouse one day, rich another day. I don't like to mess around with like energy and karma when it comes to that stuff. Like, I think we're all humans and I want to stay humble as hell. So like, I get he's talking about him having IRS problems and tax stuff, but like, he should know he had the same ones. And then Ariana was saying how she wanted to get her money out of the house. Well, I wonder how that's going to happen. The house has yet to be put up for sale. She also had tax liens on the house. And he also took equity out of the house to do the bar. So I wonder what's going to happen there. And Jax was like, this is why you don't play house. I get what Jax is saying by that. Like, this is why you don't play house. You know, you're not married. You don't have that level of, quote, commitment, but they were life partners and buy a house together. But where I don't necessarily agree with that, I don't think it's that you don't play house. I think it's that you have to be really honest with yourself about who you are deciding to share your life with. That's what I think it is. Not so much sharing house, because it happened. Look at Croy and Kim Zolciak and Croy. They had been there. They were married. They got kids, and look what happened to them with the IRS and debt and foreclosures and all of that stuff. So it's not so much about being married. It's not so much whether you're life partners and you're not married. It's about you just have to really put your pride and ego and all that crap aside and get very clear and very honest about who you are and the person you're choosing to have children with, get married to, go into business with, buy a house with. Because at the end of the day, that little marriage certificate isn't really doing much. That's really not the contract you need to be worried about. The contract you need to be worried about is the one when, look at Lala and Randall. They never got married. She's in court every other day battling for the custody of her child. Doesn't matter that they were never married. You know, look at Ariana, never married to Tom Sandoval, bought the house together. Now they're going to have to battle it out for that house, for the home and the equity and the money. So it's not so much about playing house. It's about being honest with who you are and who you're choosing to be with. Because if we're all being honest, Ariana knew exactly who Tom Sandoval was. Lala knew exactly who Randall Emmett was. Croy, because I side with Croy in the divorce. Croy knew exactly who Kim was, right? And still decided to have children, buy the house, go into business, get married. That's what I think it really boils down to. But I want to know what you guys think. Put it down below. What do you think about Jax spilling all this tea? Jax is out here doing the most because he wants to come back to Vanderpump Rules. Do you want him back? Do you not want him back? Put it down. Let me know what you guys think, okay? And before you do that, go ahead and like the video, subscribe, and share. So with that, let's move on to our next story.